How much say do we have in reality? Can we choose what is real? Can our thoughts affect the world we experience? What about the thoughts of others? Flow My Tears, the Policeman Said, by Philip K. Dick, tackles these questions and so much more. The book is truly prophetic, a point which further complicates the questions it asks. Jason Taverner is a TV talk show host, loved by millions of people. The evening of October 11th, 1988, finds him evading crazed fans to get home. He wears expensive custom-tailored suits, he has wads of cash, and he's genetically modified, part of a secret eugenics program. He and Heather, the woman he's closest to, are sixes, the sixth and alleged final installment of the program before it was ended. Taverner aims to head home with Heather when Marilyn Mason, a girl he had led on and fooled around with previously, calls him after a show demanding to meet. She threatens to reveal their hidden relationship, even though the last time they met was 6 months ago. Jason agrees to meet and begins flying to her house in his Quibble, or flying car. As a six, he's usually able to control most situations. He's not only confident and charismatic, but can often outthink his opponents. But when he meets Marilyn, although he thinks he's in control, he's not. Marilyn, delirious, pulls out some sort of parasitic organism. This creature is never explained later in the novel. She releases the parasitic organism on Jason, who's able to repel it with alcohol, but some of its tendrils get lodged in his body. The last thing he remembers is being rushed to a hospital. But he wakes up the next day, October 12th, in a hotel room, a cheap hotel room. He's not in his hospital gown, but in the green suit he was wearing previously, now crinkled from being worn for a whole day. His heart still aches from where a few parasitic tendrils still must be. When he calls his agent, his manager, for help, even when he calls Heather, no one knows him. He no longer exists. No one else in the world knows anything about him. The ID cards in his wallet have mysteriously disappeared. What follows is a psychedelic look at identity and reality, and the reality-warping abilities of technology. I first got interested in the book after hearing about PKD's unreal experiences after having written it, most of which revolve around the infamous final scene at the gas station. If you don't know the scene, it goes like this. Felix Buckman, police general, grieving the recent loss of his sister/wife, flies his Quibble and stops at an automated gas station where he meets a black man. Due to a widespread eugenics program, black people are quite rare. Felix gives the man a drawing of a heart pierced by an arrow and leaves. Upon leaving, he is for some reason compelled to go back to the gas station and hug the man, and he does so. The man then asks him for directions, for a map in particular. He and the man talk, and the man says he understands how Felix is feeling. The gesture was sufficient to transmit that information, the feelings of grief and loss. PKD wrote the book, had it published, and moved on, only later to have an Episcopalian minister explain that the gas station scene was oddly familiar to Acts of the Apostles chapter 8. There the Apostle Philip meets an Ethiopian eunuch on a chariot. They begin talking, and Philip helps him understand a Bible passage about Isaiah concerning the coming of Jesus. Philip converts him to Christianity and then goes on his way. Later, this happened to PKD himself. He was driving and found a man by the side of the road who had run out of gas. Philip stopped and gave him some cash to buy gas, and after realizing the man would still have to walk to the gas station, he turned around and picked him up and took him there. PKD recounts that while they shared contact information, he failed to give the man his real apartment number. He gave him where his apartment complex was. So they were fated to never meet up again. The man, too, was black, and only after the event transpired did PKD consider the coincidence. So the prophetic nature of the book drew me in, and even now, I am a hard-headed person. I struggle to use words such as synchronicity to explain this. Bullshit usually comes up as a reply to such implications. But the honest mind still has to contend with the nature of reality. As Philip K. Dick defined reality, reality is that which, when you stop believing in it, doesn't go away. Well, what doesn't fully go away? What is left untouched by our perceptions and abstractions? I struggle to answer that. Physical objects seem to stick around, whatever that means. It's interesting that the reader is only introduced to the gritty dystopian nature of reality once Jason is forced into it. Like many celebrities in our world, he uses his money and power to form a bubble world separate from those who admire him. Jason also learns that fame is really a trade-off. Those who are famous truly are dependent upon the recognition of others, upon their values and wants. Many of our celebrities realize that a little too late and are quite unhappy for it. As a metaphor, it works to describe the dependent realities we all choose to live in. How much of our lives is built around the thoughts of others? There is a certain way you must talk at work. There are certain clothes you must wear to appear professional. The linguistic reality we live in was not created by us. We are constantly lending the power of our own minds to others. For what? Their approval? And their instability? Yes, Jason ends up answering. And for Jason, that trade-off is worth it. Felix Buckman, police general, ends up being the center of the story towards the latter half of the book. He is the one mapping reality. He is confused about Jason's existence and seeks to find an explanation for it. When they meet, Felix tells a lie to Jason. Felix tells him that he is a 7. For the time they speak, Felix then is in control. Jason's self-assured swagger leaves him, leaving him at the whims of this policeman, literally showing that the thoughts and words of others can change our reality, at least our human reality. Felix's end scene with the black man, however, leaves him too at the whims of something greater. But there, it is the emotional reality of being human, a realm where words have no power and are not needed. This aspect of reality, in an embrace, a picture, a song, is a reality we can all tap into. It is a pure reality clean from the obstruction of thoughts, ideologies. Its only motive is to be understood, to be witnessed. Perhaps it is only in being recognized that we ever truly exist outside ourselves. There is so much more to say, but I'll leave it at that for you to discover upon your first read. Perhaps I'll do a more in-depth analysis later on, but I don't want to spoil too much of the book. Keep in mind, I did know about the Felix Buckman police gas station story before I started reading, so it didn't really spoil the book for me. Rather, it acted as inspiration for me to read it. Give me your thoughts in the comments. I noticed there wasn't a video on this book on YouTube, so I decided to take the initiative. Have a good day.